What's up, everybody? Jason from Straight Edge Knives. Hey, got another review for you today, and it is on a brand new company, guys. I came across these guys over at Blade Show West 2025. Did a whole video with them over there talking about what they're having to offer, and I was pretty excited. But now I actually have my hands on one of their knives, and guys, we're talking about Hurczyn, guys. Hurczyn knives, guys. Check this out. This is their blade. One of their blades. It's called the Brick, like not the brick. Yeah, this is the Brick version 1.0. Yeah, so the Brick, guys, check this thing out. Very cool blade, and what I liked about it was a couple of things. One, it is ridiculously light. For its size, it's oddly really light, which is really cool. And I think a lot of it has to do with their patent pendant handle scale material and sheath material, which is their own proprietary setup. Is called a Zenix, guys. So it's a brand new handle scale material / sheath material, and probably whatever else you could think of to make with it if you can get your hands on it. Which definitely go hit up Hurczyn if you want to get some of this stuff. But it's very cool. But guys, this stuff it's a hemp based material, so it's all natural. Well, I mean, all natural to a certain degree. I guess there's probably some stuff in there that isn't natural, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's a sustainable product, if you will. But I thought that was really cool, and the texture and the feel that this stuff has, just it feels nice and rigid. It feels very strong, but yet it's super light at the same time. And I thought that was really cool. And and then talking to Andy over there at Hurczyn, basically this stuff is water, like not waterproof, but yeah, it's waterproof. Like you can get it wet. You can, you don't have to worry about if you're out there field dressing an animal, getting blood on this. You're gonna be able to wash this off and everything like that. So I thought it was really cool material. It's different, which we all like, right? We all like different stuff. We've seen micarta, we've seen G10, we've seen Kieranite, we've seen a lot of the stuff, and it's nice to see that there's now another option available to us with this Zenix product. But guys, before we get any farther into the review, I do have to give a quick word from our sponsor. Guys, Wicked Industries, the makers of Wicked Wax and Wicked Clean. Two fantastic products I use to keep my blades clean, keep them protected, keep my handle materials nice and moisturized. Hey, handle materials need love too, guys. They need moisturization just like our hands, right? These products work really good. The Wicked Clean definitely gets all the really harder stained gunk off my blade, and then I utilize Wicked Wax to help keep it protected, help keep it from getting any rust or anything like that. If I happen to leave my blade a little damp, or if I'm in a wet environment, something to that effect, works great. And then after I'm done, guys, I got to moisturize my hands, right? So I utilize Wicked Rescue. This stuff is all natural, made here in the USA. Fred teamed up with some healthcare specialists when he came up to developing this. So this stuff will actually help like little cuts and things like that heal a little faster, because it's all natural shea butter, beeswax, vitamin E, coconut oil, and manuka honey. Very good stuff, guys. Again, you've got dried feet, knees, elbows, whatever, alligator elbows, as my wife likes to call it. Wicked Rescue will help moisturize that stuff, get them nice and soft, and you're back in the game, right? All right, guys, so let's get back to this. So Andy, awesome guy, man. He was super nice. It was, and that's one thing I really enjoy about meeting new people at the blade shows and shot show and stuff like that. Is you come across some really passionate people that you might not have heard of, right? And that's one of the things I like to kind of concentrate on my channel. Is I like to find these new people and bring them to your attention. So if you're interested in something like this, you can go find them and pick it up. And, when I find people that are passionate about what they're doing, it rubs off, and you can tell it in their products. It shows like they're trying really hard to make a good product, a solid product, and, Andy's, fairly new to making knives. So, when you get something like this, like the Brick, you're going to look at it and there might be some little minor things that you're going to be like, well, that's not as polished as if I would have gotten it a knife from X, Y, and Z big company. You know what, though? X, Y, and Z big company, you know what they aren't doing? They aren't putting their actual hands on your blade. Andy is. Andy is making all of these in-house, doing the heat treat, doing the grinding, putting the edges on. You're getting a handmade knife when you buy a knife from Hurczyn, which is something I can really appreciate, guys. And the fact that he also came up with his own handle scale material, again, 100% made in-house, made in the USA. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, it's just awesome. And the farther along he gets in his career of making knives, the more and more refined they're going to get. But I'm going to tell you guys, this is something I would totally buy just off the picking this up and just the general feel for it, I'm impressed with this knife already, and I haven't even done over any testing with it yet. And I feel like this is going to be maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. I could be, but I feel like this thing is going to test really well. It feels really solid, and my gosh, the edge on this is scary. Like I don't, yeah, he definitely put a very, very wicked edge on this, guys. But let me get into the specs here a little bit, guys. Let me kind of show you the way the knife came. So this is the box it came in. Very nice presentation box. You open it up. It's got some nice foam in here. You know, had a little tag on here, and this actually is like the serial number for your knife. You know, so I have number 1002 right here. There's the serial number for my knife, which is cool. So you get a nice little presentation box, if you will. The sheath came in here. Bag, and it talks about the bricks. This is the brick and Zenix EDC sheath. Gives you a little bit of information about, you know, what's on the sheath, which this does have was the APH clip from UltiClip, so it comes with that on there as well. You got your little certificate of authenticity, and it'll have your serial number on here as well, which, you know, it's cool. So the warranty card is filled out by hand. You guys can see Andy even signed it himself. So very cool. You know, it's the little touches, right? It's the little things like that matter. And, you know, it's what's making some of these smaller companies start to really excel out in the market. And you guys follow me. You guys know, like TCAL knives, the personal touches and attention to details that they put into their stuff really makes a difference. You know, I feel like that's what I'm seeing here with Hurczyn as well. Hurczyn, I'm sorry, not Hurczyn. That was one thing I told Andy. I was like, man, I'm going to have a hard time saying this name, but Hurczyn, it's not really that hard. I'm mongoloid, right? But guys, if you hear a lot of crows flying around, be advised, it is actually October 31st when I'm filming this, and there literally is a murder of crows swarming my area. There's hundreds of crows. I don't know, it's migration season. It would be Halloween that they would find up around my house, right? But yeah, I ain't messing with them though. Those things they're smart. Anyway, one of the other things that we get also is a very detailed description sheet of your blade. Excuse me. You know, it has basically all of the info on here. It tells you all about the knife. It tells you all about Zenix. And you have all of your specs here. And so guys, one thing that they are doing is all of their blades are coming in CPM MagnaCut stainless steel. With a Rockwell hardness of 61. Well, they even got it down to 61.5. I mean, that's how specific they're getting on the sheet here. I have no way of scientifically testing that. I'm going to take their word at it. Toughness. This is a new spec I haven't seen on a spec sheet, so I'm not exactly sure how it applies to the knife. And you know, Andy, please let us know if you're watching this video, let us know in the comments how does this spec apply to the knife. But toughness, 16 foot-pounds. Okay, so I'm not sure if it takes 16 foot-pounds to bend it, or if it takes 16 foot-pounds of pressure on the back. I'm not sure. Andy, let us know, please. This is a drop point full tank construction. Overall length, you're looking at 8.5 inches with a blade length of 3.9, just under 4 inches. Blade thickness, 0.18. Now here's where I said when this knife feels ridiculously light to me. The knife weight is 3.4 ounces. Your sheath weight is 1.5 ounces. So you're coming in with a total knife and sheath weight of 4.9 ounces. So roughly 5 ounces for a fixed blade, full tang. That's crazy. I mean, that's just, to me, it's this thing, the combination here is so light. I almost stabbed myself in the finger. The combination here is so light. It's crazy. Like you could throw this thing in just about anything. You're not really going to notice it. So I thought that was really cool. So this does have a brushed blade finished. Again, the handle material is in Zenix with the patent pending. The sheath material is in Zenix. The hardware holding the knife handle scales on is a T20 Torx stainless steel with a black QPQ finish. Gulsol bolts, and these, again, this is manufactured, heat treated, and finished right here in the hills of Pennsylvania, USA. Very, very cool. Now there is a little note on here. These are calculated values. It does say that these knives are hand shaped, finished, and sharpened, so the specs may vary. So again, if you think about it, when you are getting into a handmade blade where each one is hands-on, there are always going to be some slight variances in the blades. You could get one that might just be, it's maybe not 3.9, maybe 3.8, or it might be right at the 4-inch mark. So you do have to take there's a little bit of variances involved, and that's nothing new. It shouldn't be anything new to anybody, especially when it comes to handmade knives. I mean, you can even look at, excuse me, you can even look at, let's say, Tops knives, guys. A lot of their knives are hand finished, so there are some slight variations even in their knives where they are more of a production scale. So, you know, these are estimated values. Again, I really am curious about this toughness spec. That's just one I hadn't seen before. So, damn, I almost cut myself. You got to be careful with this thing, man. I mean, I barely touched my thumb, and I didn't cut myself, but I felt it. Like, I'm like, ooh, you know. Yeah, he put a really, really, really clean edge on this thing. And I'm really curious. I'm really excited to get over the testing area to see what this edge can do. And we're also going to see how well it holds up. I mean, we're looking at CPM MagnaCut steel, guys. It's one of the super steels on the market. Everybody's excited about. You can get a really good high hardness to this blade. But, we're going to see how well this edge holds up, guys. We're going to get over the testing area, and we're going to put the brick to the test. All right, guys, let's head over there. All right, everybody, we're over at the testing area. One thing I did wanted to note, excuse me, is the sheath, guys. On the sheath, there is actually right up here in this top corner, there's a little extra, it looks like an extra screw. You can actually kind of tighten this down or loosen it up, and it will kind of adjust the retention on the blade as well. Right now, I got it set pretty stout. It could be tighter, it could be looser, but knife is in there and ain't coming out. There is just a little bit of front to back little rattle, but it's nothing crazy. And with this Xenix material, it actually has a softer sound to it than Kydex. It doesn't have that click, that real audible click. It has like almost like a, for lack of a better term, like a thud sound, for lack of a better term. But when you draw it out, it almost sounds like it's suede lined or something like that. You don't hear a metal scraping on plastic type of sound at all. It's very, very. Let me take this out and get some AMSR right here. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but when it clicks in, it's very, very soft sounding. So if you guys are into hunting and stuff like that, and hey man, we got to be really quiet, things like that. Sometimes with kind of sheath, you get a real loud click, audible, and you don't want to spook your animal. I mean, this could be a good option because it's got that real soft sounding draw and reinsertion. It's really quiet. So something to think about. Again, very, very cool setup, guys. I'm digging it. Give you guys another look at the blade here. What's really cool is Andy also engraved my logo onto the side of the blade for me. So I thought that was really cool. So thank you. Appreciate it. This is mine. This one's mine. You can't have it. It's mine. So let's get into this, guys. I'm going to keep talking your ear off, and I'm afraid these crows are going to start circling, man. They're out and about. It's Halloween, man. Happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you have a safe weekend. So, guys, we have the catalog here. This one's a little beat up. I need to go find some more of these. But, this still is going to serve a good purpose for us with coming in here and doing our stab test. You do have a little bit of finger choil right here, so you're able to get your finger in there. Not, hopefully don't slide up on the blade, which I don't think it will. So it's going to help lock your finger in, and then nicely rounded over the top here, so I can come in, get a nice reverse grip. Got my thumb over the top to help secure my hand as well. Stab right into the catalog. We went definitely about good 3/4 of the way through the catalog there. Got my dog over there barking, sorry. Bam. That one went about halfway through on that one. So definitely get some good penetration with this. It does have that drop point, so it does start off pierce, widens out a little bit. Oh man, my dog's going crazy barking at the birds. Let me go put him away real quick. All right, everybody, got my dog put away. Yeah, those crows are circling up, and he sees them. He starts barking. He's a corgi. He thinks he's the big bad boss of the neighborhood, right? So coming in here, stabbing into this, I feel like I got a lot of grip with this knife. Andy put some really nice jimping there on the sides of the blade as well as over the top. It's aggressive, but not super overly aggressive. That it's gonna, you can feel it getting into your hand, but not eating your hand up, which I thought was really nice. And also with this blade, one thing I'll point out is with this jimping on the side here, you can actually really get a good pinch grip on it. So if you had to come in and do some stuff like this, cutting like this for whatever reason, getting an animal out, you're gonna be able to get in there and get that stuff done. So stabbing into a catalog, stuff like that, absolutely gonna do a perfect plan. Actually, the whole purpose for doing this is it's a lot of thick paper. You're able to come in here, look at that. Look how smooth that blade is. If you're stabbing into a catalog, it's a lot of compressed paper. It's very resistive to being penetrated. So it's when you can take a knife and you can get halfway or 3/4 of the way in, you have a good idea that if you have to pierce into something else more organic, it's going to be able to do it. So flies. The flies are attacking me. Fire hose, guys. Stuff is cut and abrasion resistant. It's made to go through broken cars, fires, buildings, all that weird stuff. This is 2 layers of canvas, a layer of rubber that's glued inside. Very, very, very abrasive to a knife edge as well. Because again, it doesn't want to be cut. It's meant to stay intact to help save lives, right? So that's why I like doing this test. I like being able to cut a piece of this off. We like to see how easily this will cut through. And this is like butter, like just cut through that. Not an issue at all. And then the other thing I like to do is when I cut this piece off, I like to, how well can we pierce through? Pierce all the way through with no issues. Not a problem. Now, guys, this knife is super light. We've already established that. So this thing isn't a chopper. Can you do some chopping tasks with it? We're going to find out with the wood. It's not necessarily a chopper. If you're into wanting something a little bigger to do chopping, they do have a version of this knife called the Ox, which is just it's a bigger, like 9-inch blade. You might want to look into getting that one. Or if you're looking for something a little bit smaller, they have another model called the Wifey. Go check that one out. Actually, if you go watch my Blade Show West video with her, we talk all about that. So go look that up and check it out. But super light knife, guys. It's not going to be really it's just not going to excel at chopping, in my opinion, just because of the lightness. As many blades as I've reviewed, I've come to that conclusion that really light knives just don't make the best choppers. But you still want to know if it can do some chopping tasks. So we're going to try to chop into this. And I may be standing corrected here. Chop through that first layer nicely. Didn't go through the back one because the rubber stopped it. But look at it, darn near. It's definitely split that rubber. I have 2 pieces of rubber here. Oh, I think I picked another one up. Definitely pierced in. What was this one right here? This was from another test, I think. Definitely pierced through that top layer, that layer. Pretty much almost got through the second layer. You can see it cut through the rubber and the hose stopped it. So, excuse me. Definitely, again, wicked sharp edge. Put a little work in there. Yeah, edge still looks really good. Okay, we haven't gotten too crazy yet, but that's fine. The edge is still looking good. Guys, now we're going to get into our EDC type of stuff, guys. EDC carry. Most of the time, this is what people are going to be doing. They're going to be cutting rope, paracord, hose, just different stuff like that. And that's why I like to do all these tests. So here we have some just, basic paracord. Come in here. We're not going to have issues cutting paracord. Come in here, cut this stuff all day, every day. Cardboard. Yeah, you're going to be able to cut cardboard. Yeah, I don't typically cut cardboard on my channel. I don't know why I don't. Maybe I should start doing that, but I just don't. Anyway, here we got what, 1, 2, 3. We got 4 pieces. I kind of twisted them together, make a little half knot, and I just chopped through all of them. So if you have to do some quick little chops, yeah, you're going to be able to do that with this knife. So no issues there. So paracord, not a problem. Guys, we have some jean material, pant material. Again, sometimes you have to cut clothing off to assess injuries when you're out and about. Sometimes somebody gets hurt, car accident, hiking accident, something like that. Easily come in here, stab into these pants, shred them up, cut them up. Here we have, this is literally the crossroads of the crotch right here. No, you know, I'm not trying to be gross, but like this is, you have really thick layers of pants coming at a crossroads essentially right there. We can see that. Let's cut through that. That's a nice thicker part of the jean material that you have to get through. Let's see if we can cut through it. And I blew right through that. No problem. Look at it. So definitely some thicker parts of the jeans you can. If you can get through jeans, you can get through t-shirts, stuff like that, sweatshirts, hoodies. No problems there. So definitely jean material. You're good to go. Here we have this kind of weird thicker cotton rope, guys. This stuff shouldn't be an issue either. Yeah, it just blew right through that. I didn't think it would be a problem. Here we have this sissy rope, guys, which this stuff is, again, is really abrasive to a knife edge as well. And for some reason, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to my last, 10 videos or so. This particular sissy rope is a bane to my existence because I feel like they dip this stuff in motor oil and let it dry, and WD-40 and every other lubricant you can think of, because this stuff is like so slick. So it definitely makes it a little bit harder to cut, but we're going to come in here. Man, that edge is so sweet. I just had to push. I didn't have to slide or nothing. I was just able to push through it like that. Awesome. Got to do a little chop. Pretty much almost went through. I got a lot of kind of voids in my log here from cutting and chopping. So, bam, there it goes right there. Had a flat spot. Not a problem. So, cutting and chopping through some thicker stuff. Definitely can. Here we got the old yellow synthetic rope. This stuff, it's a lot of hundreds and hundreds of strands all twined together. This stuff is really commonly used all across the U.S. Tying down loads. You're running out to the dump. Cut through there, no problem. It's just very common, and you got to oftentimes cut it. Used a lot of times in boats and stuff like that. So if you have to cut through this stuff to make your anchor rope a little longer, a little shorter, you can definitely do that as well. Here we have the 3000 PSI rated pressure washer hose. Guys, this stuff is, it's tough. There's actually a round layer of plastic in here, and then there's like some sort of a nylon layer, and then you got your plastic hose, right? So if you had to come through, cut some of this stuff, let's try a press cut first. Yeah, press cutting. Boom, that stuff's popping right off. If you have to come through, kind of go reverse grip, bam, slides right through and cuts it. No problem at all. So, some of your EDC style stuff, this is definitely going to be able to handle it. Here we have extension cord, guys. This is 3 layers of copper wire. It's extension cord. You know what it is. If you don't, well, you've never cut an extension cord, I guess. So come in here with this kind of reverse grip. Oh man, that just ate right through it. Yeah. Cut through it nicely. Come in here, we're going to chop a piece. Bam. If you choke back a little bit, get a nice little whip, you can chop a piece off if you need to. Let's check this edge. Still nice. There's no chipping or rolling. I mean, I still have a mirror polish edge on this thing. I mean, which is awesome. So can't go wrong there, guys. Let's open up this catalog here. This catalog paper, you guys know this stuff is thin, right? So let's see. Look at that. Now there are stab holes in this, and if you see it catching, it's catching the stab holes. That's still wicked sharp, guys. Let's find a spot here on my arm or hand. Okay, there we go. Excuse me. So you guys see, got that hairy part of my hand right there. Let's see if we can take some of that hair off. Yeah. a nice little bald spot right there. You guys can see some hair hanging on to the edge there. So definitely still popping hair off my arm, so that's nice. Every time I do knife reviews, my wife's like, "You've been doing knife reviews again, haven't you?" There, I got bald spots on my hands and my arms, or even when I sharpen knives too. So EDC style stuff, we got it. We know that the brick from Hurczyn is going to be able to handle that stuff, guys. So now let's get into some of our wood stuff. Let me find a stick here. So here we have a thicker stick. You know, we like to make tent stakes on this channel. Two things. We do a little bit of chopping with it. We do a little, like on this one, we're going to have to do a little cross batoning right off the get-go to make a new stick to be able to make our spike and make our notch. This is what we do to help establish whether or not this is going to be a bushcrafty knife. Bam, there we go. So baton through that, not an issue. I kind of jacked up my stick though a little bit, guys. It broke my stick. My stick broke. So we're going to do this probably 2 different sticks. I'm going to make my notch right now. So we're going to come in here. I like to kind of just cut in. I usually get to a certain point. I just keep basically digging down, like I'm trying to dig down to the middle of the stick. And I'll just keep digging in until I get about 1/4 of the way, halfway there. And then depending on the size of the rope, you might need a bigger stick or a smaller stick, but I usually like to get it to about right there. And then I'll come in right over the top, rock it down, cut through that stuff. Clean it up a little bit if you need to. You know, maybe you're a perfectionist, you like your notches to be perfect, but there you go. Nice perfect notch there. Now we're going to come in and we're going to, I guess we're going to have to use this stick because it's broken. I need some more sticks, guys. We got to make a knot. We got to make a, this one will work. We got to make a pointy end to be able to drive that tent stake into the ground, or a vampire stake. You know, it is Halloween, so come in here, hog off material like this if you need to, get it down to that point. Excuse me. Or if you want to be a little bit quicker, you can come in here, do some light chops like this. Helps get that point down a little quicker. Then when you get it to a certain point, you know, where you want it at, then you can come in here, clean it up, dial it in, either make it a flat wedge or a blunt stick, or if you really, like, again, vampires are coming, you need a nice acute point, you can come in, make your vampire stake. But realistically, we're tying down tarps and stuff, guys. So making a stick and stuff like that, a tent stake, yeah, we can definitely do it. Now, obviously, you're out in the woods hiking, man, you got lost. You shouldn't have tried to go to that secret hot springs where all the, I don't know, wild stuff happens. Now you're stuck in the back country. You need to make a fire to get through the night so somebody can come find you. Everything around you, well, you need to make a fire, right? So we're gonna make some fire curls. This is a piece of seasoned almond wood. Very hard wood. I actually do this with 2 different types of wood. I do this with like a seasoned almond wood, and then I'll find a piece of softwood, because depending on where you're at, you could have hard or soft wood. So I figured, you know, hey, might as well show fire curls for both, right? Realistically, if you're going to make fire curls with a hardwood, you should be able to do it with a softwood too, but you never know. This is easily digging into this wood, making some curls, not a problem. I like to do it this way. I feel like I have a little bit more control over the wood. I like to stick the knife in. I don't know, you guys see this fly flying around me, but it seems mad willy at me. I can make a little bit finer fire curls that way. Just because I'm a big meathead, man. I got a heavy hand. So I always have a hard time making nice, small, skinny fire curls on wood if I do it this way. So I like to do it the other way. I get better results. That's just me. Everybody's a little different. You do what you do the best, and you go from there, right? So here's a piece of softwood. This came off like a chunk of a 2x4 or something like that. Yeah, it was part of my axe throwing target. I saw the blue paint right there. So if I had to come in here, you can see I'm shaving the wood off, not a problem. That's where I run into my issues. I usually wind up cutting the pieces off. They fall on the ground. I got to go dig them out of the dirt. Again, you see those fire curls right there. Again, that's one of the reasons why I like doing it this way, because I have a little bit more control. And if I do cut them off, they land on the ground or the stump right in front of me. And then bam, got real nice fire curls. One thing I guess we should test out is can this strike a fire rod, right? So let me grab my fire rod real quick. All right, we got our Uber Leben fire rod, guys. These are fantastic fire rods, by the way. If you guys can pick some of these up off of Amazon or whatever, and you can throw some good sparks with this thing, man, you're going to be able to get a fire going. But guys, got ours right here. This is, I'm pretty sure this is going to throw some sparks. There we go, yeah. Definitely throw some sparks with this. If you guys wanted to, you can even come in here, step your knife in here, be a little bit more controlled. There you go. Yeah, it'll throw some sparks. Now, does it throw? The 90 on this edge is a little bit, just ever so rounded. So it's not throwing a ton of sparks like, say, a Work Tough gear, but it can definitely come in here. Definitely come in here, scrape some stuff off, get some sparks going, get a fire going if you need to. So definitely work for doing that as well. Magnet cut, man. That edge is still holding up great. Fire curls, starting fire. Check, we got it. Now, here's where you start running into, let's try the chopping capabilities of this. Again, seasoned piece of almond wood, hardwood, not a big piece, but you know, see what kind of a choke back on it. I mean, it's taking chunks out. And the nice thing is it's so light, I'm almost 2-finger pinching this, and it's not flying out of my hand. But yeah, I mean, it's going to come in, it's going to do some chopping. Is it going to be the fastest thing in the world to do? No, it's not. So again, I wouldn't sit here and tell you guys this thing is a chopper. It's not. We're going to come in here, we're going to go right over the top of this piece right here, and we're just going to baton down through this. Bam. Baton through that seasoned piece of almond wood, putting that pressure on that edge. It's still holding up good. No chipping or rolling. Yeah, it's still rocking and rolling. That's what I'm talking about. That's good, man. That's what we want to see. I want to see, you know, how's this thing going to hold up? You guys got to forgive me. I keep having to clear my throat. Allergies and everything else. I'm just, man, I'm congested. I've been trying to shake it ever since Blade Show. Well, it's holding on, man. That cold is holding on. Oh, here we go. So, gonna get into some batoning, guys. This is where you're starting to get into what a lot of people consider abuse of a knife. Should you baton with a knife? You know, absolutely. If you have an axe, absolutely not. If you have an axe, well, okay, I don't want to say absolutely not, because there's never any absolutes, right? Should you baton with a knife? You probably shouldn't. But are we all running around the woods and everywhere with an axe or a silky saw or whatever? No, we're not. Let's be honest, guys. You got to be honest, right? So the knife might be the only thing you have on your hands. Again, you went out looking for that hot spring, got lost in the backcountry. You're up in Oregon, Washington, somewhere where there's a lot of wet wood, stuff like that. And you're like, gosh, man, I need to start a fire. I got to get down to some of the dry wood that's in the middle of some of these pieces, right? So I know this piece has already been split, but you might have to baton through something with your knife. Okay, so that's why we do this type of testing on our channel. I feel like I have to explain this a lot, but you know, you might be new to the channel, so that's why I'm saying it. I always inevitably always get somebody, oh, you're shooting baton with your knife. Yeah, I get it, Elmer Fudd, but sometimes you have to. All right, so here we go. So, and then the other reason I do this, guys, is we're testing the toughness of this blade, guys. If you're gonna buy this knife, I want you to know that what can it handle? You know what I mean? Can it handle some batoning? Can it handle some rougher use? Right? That's what you want to know. Hopefully, you never have to put your knife through any of that type of use. But I want to show you that it can do it, so that you have the confidence that if you bought this knife, you know, man, I'm not going to baton with it, but I saw Jason do it, and if he can do it, I know I can do it. If I absolutely have to. That's the goal here, guys. So baton it through that piece. Again, this is seasoned hard almond wood, guys. Right here, we're getting right into a knot. This, I mean, the blade, I don't know, see this, guys. You can see it's stopped right there. It's stopping right there on that knot. We're gonna. And the brick said, what knot? No, not the app where you guys can bid on stuff, but we just went right through that knot without an issue, guys. So awesome to see that. Here's again another piece. We're going to come down, split this. And I do this a little bit more than, you know, well, you did it once, Jason. Isn't that proof enough? You know what? I'm going to show you a few times here that we can go through some almond wood. We can go through some seasoned wood, stuff like that. Just, you know, because I want you to know, you know, you come in, I want you to know that you're buying a knife that one can either take it or the edge is going to hold up, not get some chipping and rolling. And there isn't any chipping or rolling on this edge. It's still perfectly fine. And then also on this tip, you know, you're coming down with this wood, almond wood. I'm utilizing a sheath of almond wood. I'm hitting right here on the tip of this blade, and it's still handling it without any problems. So always good to know, guys. So speaking of tips, guys, let's do a little tip testing here. So this does come down to a little bit thinner of a tip. So what I would suggest is, like, if you are going to tip, you know, you do have to stab into something. As you stab in, rock your knife front and back to wedge it out. Don't go left or right. There are some knives out there in the market. You can go left and right and just take chunks of wood out. This has a thin enough tip where I would not suggest doing that. You're more likely going to break this tip off if you go left or right. Don't do that with this knife. You know, always look at your tips, guys. You can kind of determine on your own if you think a tip can handle like that type of stress or not. This one, I mean, I'm not here to destroy knives. I'm not here to break stuff on purpose. I would say that this tip is definitely a little bit thinner. I would not be cranking left or right. If you do stab into something that gets stuck, at least rock it front and back, and then work it loose and then pull it out. Okay, so I like to establish that because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, you know, I've broken some tips, guys. I've kind of learned my lesson. You know, again, I'm not here to purposely break stuff. You know, that's never your goal with your tools. You spend your good hard-earned money on something, you don't want to break it. So don't do something that you know in your head will break it. Okay, so, and that will. So this is a piece of, it's kind of not flat, which I don't like. Where it's a little too, yeah, it'll work. So this is a piece of seasoned almond wood, guys. We're tip testing into some hardwood. So we're going to come in here and we're going to stab this 10 times. 1. All right, guys, sorry about that. The memory card on my camera filled up and shut off on me, so I had to erase some older videos real quick. So we're in the middle of tip testing, guys. I got about 3 stabs in here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, tip. All right. Let's check this tip out. Ooh, that's still a nice needle point tip. You guys see, stabbed about 10 times into that seasoned wood right there. Check it out. All good in the hood, man. So the tip's going to be able to handle some pretty hard stabbing into some hard woods and stuff like that. And not to mention that I've already stabbed this into the stump a bunch of times, just, you know, doing other various things. So we know this tip can handle some pretty good abuse. So again, don't crank left or right, because if you do, you're going to run into an issue of possibly snapping that tip off, and you don't want to do that, right? But it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. If you absolutely have to, I guess do it. I don't know. Take that for what you will, but definitely a cool knife, guys. I really like the shape of it. It's just a classic shape, functional shape. You know, this is something that, you know, you're out and about, you go to your favorite steakhouse, get that nice, you know, 53 ounce ribeye steak. Okay, maybe I'd eat a 53 ounce, you know, I'm a big boy. Steak knives suck. You could pull this out. I don't think people would look over at your table and just think it's the steakhouse steak knife, right? This is kind of the undercover tactical steak knife, if you will, at this point, you know, which I think is cool. It's going to handle your wood task, your EDC task, your food prep task. This CPM MagnaCut has held up great. There is no chipping or rolling on the edge here. I mean, it's still got a really good edge. So still blasting through this rope after batoning it through that wood. Come on, I mean, that's a good edge, guys. So definitely worth checking out, guys. Hurczyn knives, guys, go check them out. Very, very cool handle scale materials, very cool blade, 100% American made here in the USA, all hands on. You know, a lot of people are always asking for that. Well, here it is. Here's a good example of 100% American made, all hands on, right here in Pennsylvania. Well, I'm not in Pennsylvania, but, you know, in Pennsylvania. And he's done a fantastic job. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to check this out. I dig it. It's a cool blade. I think it's something that you should look into as well. You know, I think a lot of people are going to dig this. Just the simplicity of it, the weight of it, the toughness of it. It's a good all-around knife. So, guys, definitely go check them out. Hurczyn knives, the brick. Links in the description below to their website. They just recently started their Instagram as well, so I'll have a link to that. Go check them out and keep following them, guys, because I expect we're going to see a lot more coming from these guys, a lot more innovation, which I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see where these guys go. So go check them out. Make sure you give them a like and a follow. Stay safe. Stay sharp. Happy Halloween.